Hey everyone, welcome into Cryptid and Paranormal Talk podcast. I'm your host Bobby,
I'm your host, Shannon.
and this is
And I'm
episode
Uncle
6 with
Rico.
Uncle Rico. Yeah. And Uncle Rico's had a lot of encounters, paranormal, cryptid stuff. And we're gonna let Uncle Rico just start getting into his encounters and tell us what's happened to him over the years and give us a little insight on some of this stuff. He's very, very knowledgeable when it comes to cryptids and paranormal stuff. Very knowledgeable. Um, and can shed a lot of light on some stuff that's going on into the world today. We might get into some of that kind of stuff too. But Uncle Rico, brother, I'm gonna let you get into it and just start telling us some of your earliest encounters and just kind of go from there, brother.
Alrighty. Okay. Yeah, hi everybody. Thank you, Bobby, for letting me on your show. Good to see you, Shannon. And yeah, I got some strange otherworldly encounters I've gone through in my life, and I'll share it with you all. I'll start off with this one was a really very interesting encounter I had. This was probably back in about 2010-ish when I lived on the reservation in southeastern Utah with my dad's side of the family, with our tribe. And I was working for our tribe during that time. I was a cook for the elders, the seniors. And so I would get off work. I'd start work about 8 o'clock, get off about 4:30, something like that. And anyways, when I would get off, I was camped out at an old abandoned house because there was no available housing there. So I was camping out in my van with my dog. So it was my one of my cousins, his grandmother's land. They gave me the permission. Okay. So I'm camped out over here. I'm working in the day. So every evening when I would get off, I used to love riding mountain bikes. So I had a real nice mountain bike. So I lived down at the end of a dirt road that was about a quarter mile long before you get to the main road by the highway. So, anyways, I would always get my mountain bike and I would start riding it down the road and I'd make a big circle, a big loop. And I would do that, 2, 3, 4 times, whatever. And then this one time I was leaving and my aunt, her house was just right down the road. She goes, "Hey, what are you doing?" I go, "I'm going for a ride, exercise on my bicycle." She goes, "You're not afraid of the monsters?" And I go, "What do you mean the monsters?" And she goes, "The monsters, they're out there. They start coming out." And I laughed at her and I was like, "Oh man, I thought she's crazy." I go, "No, I'm not afraid of the monsters." So then I took off riding my bike. I drove a couple loops. Everything was cool. No problem. Okay. About 2 more days later, I go to do the same thing after work, get on my bike, I start riding. I get to the southern end of the reservation, about halfway through my loop. I look straight ahead and I see a big whirlwind dust devil, huge. It just sprang up, and I was like, "What the heck?" And I was staring at it. All of a sudden, something came out of the earth, and it was a big black thing through the dust devil, and it landed, and then it was running really fast. I thought it was a deer at first, but it looked different than a deer. But I never seen any other animal run like that. So I started heading down that dirt road on my bike to see what kind of animal it was, try to catch up. And right before I got to the old house, that creature, I seen it clearly. It was a huge, ancient looking wolf, almost the size of a
Oh,
full-size adult horse. The head was bigger than a horse's head, had big furry ears, had a big long red tongue hanging out of its mouth, flapping in the wind. The teeth were huge, the mouth was open. I could see the muscles in the legs, from the rear legs, contracting every time it ran. I could see the muscles in the ribs contracting when it was running. And the thing looked ancient, and the eyes were pure black. So before I got
Oh, wow.
too close to it, it ran right in front of me and my dog. And it kicked up dirt over our head. And I looked at it from the back, and my dog was running in circles on the ground because it ran by him so fast, he thought it was a rabbit. And I was yelling at him, go get it, boy, go get it, to chase it. But that thing from the back, the legs were so huge, it looked like horse legs. They were that big and thick, full of muscle, and had a huge furry tail. That tail was probably like about 6 feet long at least, maybe 7 feet. And so it went behind the house.
Oh, wow.
And there was trees, cedar trees, a whole bunch, and then there was a canyon, like I don't know how many feet, 1, 2, 3, a few hundred feet behind the house, about 500 feet, 600 feet. That's where the canyon started, a huge canyon behind my house, where I camped out, the old house, and that thing, I could not believe the size of it, the power of it. So the next day when I went into work, one of my grandmas was my boss, and one of my aunts was my boss. So I went in to their office. They were talking. And I go, I got to talk to you guys about something I seen yesterday. They go, is it important? Private? I go, yeah. I go, shut the door. I shut the door. So I start to tell one of my grandmas, I go, Grandma, I seen this thing. The dirt devil was huge. I told her the whole story. And the big wolf came out of the ground running. And I seen it. And it ran by the house towards the trees by the canyon. And she goes, Ruch, Ruch. And in our language, that means monster. She says, monster, monster. And she looked at my aunt, and that was her daughter, and they started talking in our language. And they're really scared about it. Then my aunt, she goes, Dave, did you really see that? I go, yeah, I seen it. It's real. She goes, you're not lying? I go, no, I'm not lying. That's why I'm telling you guys, because I don't know what it is or what we're supposed to do. And she goes, that's bad. That's very bad that you seen that. I go, okay. So my aunt left the room. My grandma, she goes, Dave, do you know? We heard stories about that when I was a young girl. She goes, we always heard stories. We never seen it. She goes, no one has ever seen it. She goes, you're the first in our first person and with our people and our tribe to see that in real life. She goes,
Oh,
what did you
wow.
think about it? I go, I was looking at it in the eyes because I wanted to see if it would look at me, if I could tell who it was from. It would not look at me and the eyes are pure black, but it looked like it was scared of me. And she goes, that's good that it was scared of
Oh,
you.
wow.
She goes, that's good. So then I had to go to my dad and I told him. Then I had to go to my uncles and tell them. And then we had to do special prayers and blessings and stuff like that because of just the presence of that monster, the creature. And so people call them many different names. Some people call them skinwalkers. Some people call them monsters. There's different names. So for me, I just call it a monster because that's what I seen and that's what it looked
Yeah.
like. And the way it came out of the ground, that was something supernatural. So somehow these creatures, they can come in and out into our world through different portals that we don't even know exist. We can't even see them.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I did see that, and it was real, and I drew a picture of it, and everyone I showed, they got really upset about it when they seen that. And I had a lot of people visit me and pray, and they were worried about me because it's a bad omen to see something like that. But I got a strong faith
Oh, yeah.
in the Lord and the good things and the Creator of the universe. And so, I focus all my energy to the pureness of the universe. Jesus Christ, Holy Spirit,
Yeah.
Heavenly Father, the Creator. There's all different names. Abba, there's Ehyeh, all the different names, different languages. So that's who I try to connect with when I am going through a hard time or see something supernatural that is not a good thing to see. I'm praying. Trust me, I'm praying. I'm like, Lord, I need some help and keep those things away from me. But yes, that's something I've seen,
Oh yeah.
and I like to share that with people from time to time that have an interest in these kind of experiences.
Yeah, that's wild, man. Because it don't sound like just like a traditional dog, man, that a lot of people encounter.
Mhm.
There was something more, I guess, spiritual with this creature, especially the way you said it come to the ground like it was coming through a portal.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yep.
and in your culture, like you said, being a bad omen, it's definitely good that you done a cleansing and prayed about it. And you're right. I mean, when something like that happens, um, pray about it. I mean, Jesus can ward off all that negativity and that negative energy. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why I tell people that all the time. When you're having bad stuff happens, you got to combat it with good. And the way you do that is through prayer.
Mm-hmm.
Especially dealing with evil entities. No matter what they are,
Yeah.
like you said, you can call them skinwalkers or whatever type of creature. Like you said, you call it a monster because that's what it is. That's how it appeared to you. But at the
Mm-hmm.
end of the day, you're dealing with something evil because it's not appearing to you that way to be friendly to you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not popping up
Um,
to do good things.
exactly, exactly. It's there to cause fear and harm. And
Yes.
like you said, the best way to combat it is pray. All things are
Mm-hmm.
possible through Jesus.
Yes, sir. That's right. Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah. There's a lot of
Yep.
Christians on reservations because there's a lot of spiritual warfare that goes on. There's a lot of people that practice witchcraft and they summon the different creatures, and some of them they do the skinwalking stuff. And in my tribe where I'm from, that's forbidden. That's forbidden for anyone to do that. And it was pretty much like a law within the tribe where it was forbidden. And if they found out
Yeah.
you were doing that, they would go to you and they would give you about 2-3 warnings. And if you didn't stop it, then they would send assassins to take that person out. So that's how serious
Oh
our
wow.
tribe took it. That's how serious our neighboring tribe, the Navajos, they're called Dene. They took it. They created a law within their tribe, with amongst their people, that was totally forbidden and against the law. And those guys will give you 3 warnings, and the men, the leaders of the community, would go to that person's house in person and tell them, "Hey, we know what you're doing. We know it's you, for whatever reasons, for whatever evidence they had." And they'd say, "Stop it, knock it off. Don't do it no more." Because when people started practicing these things, originally it was designed for physical and spiritual warfare against our enemies in battle, to do things that our enemy couldn't
Yeah.
do, and go places where a regular human could not go, because we don't have the strength, the power, the endurance, the eyesight, the speed to do it. And that was the whole purpose of it. So it was not intended to be practiced out of warfare, because it's so wicked and vicious and powerful and destructive. And so anyone practicing those things, if in their community, they cause a lot of problems, a lot of division, a lot of strife, a lot of families fighting over each other. People might get murdered over things going on. suicide, drug overdoses, bad alcoholism, whatever, all robbery, bad stuff. So, so
Oh yeah.
a lot of the tribes, they forbid forbade those type of activities. And so a lot of those people that want to continue practicing it, they try to keep it super hush hush, underground. They go to their spots. They got caves, they got tunnel systems, and they go and they do their stuff in there away from the people. So there's people that still do that. They still practice it. But one of the signs that people are involving themselves in that is you'll start seeing these unnatural creatures, monsters popping up, bothering people, scaring people, or maybe even hurting people or livestock or animals. So, anyways, that's what we dealt with on the res a lot. And so that's why a lot of people become Christians, because it's that spiritual battle that's going nonstop, man. It's
Yeah.
real. So you just got to pick a side. What side are you on?
Oh yeah. I mean, from the way it sounds like the ones that practice that and become the skinwalkers and all that, they're using, it's powered by evil. It's powered by the devil. Is how they're able to do it, and that's why we're talking about the people that do it. Have a lot of bad energy around them and a lot of bad stuff going on. With the overdoses, the alcoholism, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Anytime somebody has an oppression from a demon or something, that's what happens to them. They start going through a lot of negativity in their life. A lot of bad stuff starts happening to them.
Yep.
So to me, it sounds like the ones that practice the skinwalker rituals or whatever to become these different type of creatures are essentially getting possessed by demons. And that's how they're able to
Yep.
do it. Is that okay? Um, but yeah, I mean it's bad stuff. Anytime you're playing with that spiritual world like that, especially playing for the dark side, it's never good and it's never going to come out good because I mean evil is bad and you're going to reap the benefit the not benefits. I guess you'd call it benefits of the evil for a short time. Just like you using it to gain power. Look at all the people that's gained power through evil ways. They don't retain that power for very long before they fall. Something bad is going to happen to them, and they're going to lose all power, all control, and that's just a short gain. To lose your soul is not worth it.
Yes, that's true. Very true. Yeah, it's unfortunately I never used to believe in this kind of stuff for many years, and then I started having really crazy spiritual experiences that was affecting my regular daily life, and that was the beginning. That was probably when I started really experiencing this type of things, was probably about 2007-ish, something like that. 2006-ish.
Yeah.
That was when I started really experiencing things. But on the reservation, there's a lot of activity, man. There's a lot of people seeing stuff. Bigfoot goes to the reservation. The one they call the tall man or slender man, he goes to the reservation. The one that they call the goat man, he's half goat, half human. That creature goes to our reservation. We got the little people. We got the ones we call leprechauns. They like to steal shiny things from people. They like to uh, see people wreck their cars or their vehicles, or they like to see people get hurt. So they'll set up a scenario where you're gonna hit a bunch of rocks or go off the road or something like that. They like playing games like that and watch the humans get hurt. And
Yeah.
those are the leprechauns. They're like 3.5 feet tall, maybe 4 feet tall. And then we got the up in northern Utah, they got the gnomes, and then those ones are real little. They're probably like a little over a foot tall. Those ones, and then over where our res is, But further out in the canyons, there was a very small group of people. They were about 2 inches tall, and we called them the little people. And they have very high knowledge of medicine and healing, and they're good. And they became our friends a long time ago. And so when we needed someone healed, like from cancer or something that was, that was going to kill someone, a disease or a bad accident or injury, our people would send someone with gifts of leather and small pieces of very fine leather, and we would take those pieces of leather to the little people because they use them to make their stuff, and we'd do a trade and talk to them, and if they liked the leather and they liked us, they would agree, okay, we're gonna heal this person for you, but we need all these skins, they called them, the deer hide, the skins. We need the skins, and you give us all these skins,
Yeah.
and then we'll do that. So there was those guys, but those guys, people started, like, people would get drunk and go because they live in the ground, and they would pour whiskey in the ground or water or beer or whatever, and they would like try to torture them and kill them. So those little people, they moved far away, and now people don't even know where they're at, because when you would go see those people, you have to walk.
Oh wow.
You can't take a motorized vehicle. You can't take no machine. You have to walk on your two legs, 2 feet, with your gifts to them. And that's the only way that they would talk to you back in those days. But now they're so far away, and no one's seen them no more because people started harassing them and probably trying to kill them. And you know how humans are. Humans are pretty wicked, man. Humans
Oh
like
yeah.
to kill everything. If it moves, they want to shoot it. If it moves and you
Yep.
shoot it and it's not dead, they want to torture it. So that's just how humans
Oh yeah.
are.
Yeah, you're right, man. Humans are, I mean, like you said, a lot of humans are very, very wicked, man, and it's all about war and destruction. Um, I mean, just look at the history of the entire world. I mean, when God made Adam and Eve had Cain and Abel. You know, the world had just started, and you already had a murderer. Cain killed his brother.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, that's crazy.
yeah, and
Man.
I mean, and it was jealousy. I mean, he killed him over jealousy. But
Hmm.
that just shows you the wickedness of the world from pretty much the beginning. It's always been corrupt, always been wicked, and the world's done ended one time by a flood, and the world's going to end again. And it boils down to wickedness in this world. If you look, like we was talking about earlier, you look at the things that's going on right now, not just wickedness in people, but the things that they're doing as far as you know DNA manipulation, different kind of stuff that they're doing. It's insane, man. People want to play God,
Yep.
and evil allows them to play that part. I mean, they're never going to play God. They're never going to be God, but they want to be gods, and evil makes them think that they can be gods, and that's why you
Yeah.
got so much corruption and
Hmm.
evil in this world right now.
Yep. That's right.
Um, but yeah, man, that's interesting about the little people. It's like that movie. Oh, you remember that movie that come out? I think it was in the 80s called Willow.
Yeah.
Remember the brownies, the little bitty people, the brownies, that
Yeah.
snatched Willow up and tied him up.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. I mean, you think about where they come up with these ideas of these movies like the brownies. And when you was telling the story about the real little people that lived in the ground, that y'all would trade with, barter
Yeah.
with for
Yeah.
health benefits and stuff. And
Yeah,
I was thinking about the brownies on that movie, and I'm like, I wonder if that's where they got the idea for the little people in that movie. You know, I mean, because
I
them
wouldn't doubt
ideas
it
come from
because, like,
somewhere, and it's not just stuff that.
yeah, like our culture. Okay, this is very unique about our culture. We're one of the few tribes that I would say, with our ancient history, we've dealt with all the different monsters that were alive. Okay, we dealt with all
Yes.
of them, even dinosaurs. They said the dinosaurs died out. They didn't die out. They're still around. At night over there where I used to
Oh
live,
yeah.
people, they when the sun's going down, you better be in your house because that's when all the monsters are coming out. And guess what likes to come out at night and look for food? Pterodactyl. The pterodactyl.
Oh wow.
So I think those pterodactyls live in the canyons because if you get on Google Maps and you look at those canyons, man, these canyons are huge and they go for hundreds of miles. We're not talking like 5 miles or even 10. We're talking over 500 miles. Some of them, I think, are almost 800 miles long canyons.
Yeah.
And we got all kinds of
Oh
canyons,
yeah. Well,
man. So, so, you know, I've heard different stories from different members of my family that they would share their experiences with some things. One of my uncle, he was young. He was in the community at night, walking home from playing basketball at the gym there. And he said at that time it was real dark. There was hardly no lights on the reservation. And he said he heard something like a parachute over his head. And he said the moon was out real bright, like a full moon. So when it's full moon, it lights up everything. You could see real nice,
yeah.
clear, right? So he was happy that the moon was out. He could see clear walking home, but he heard that parachute noise over his head. He said it went "Poof," real loud, and like there was air. He felt the air, and he looked up. He said he's seen the head of the pterodactyl go right through the moonlight, and it soared right over him.
Oh wow.
And he saw the legs hanging with the big claws. And he said that thing was huge.
Yeah. Well,
He said the wingspan was probably
you know,
at least 40 feet wide.
that's a big bird, man. You know that there's you can probably find it on Google. I seen a picture one time, and it looked like it was around like the late 1800s, early 1900s of a pterodactyl. Like these cowboys. I mean, they look like cowboys. That's the way they were dressed. Had killed
Mm-hmm.
one, and they got a picture with it. And I mean, it's a huge wingspan, and they're
Yep.
standing on each side of this thing and kind of in front of it.
Yeah, I seen that.
But
I've
yeah,
seen that picture. Yeah.
yeah, yep. That's like a lot of people talk about the Thunderbird. That's another
Mm-hmm.
cryptid, a giant bird that that
I
Unsolved Mysteries done an episode on it, and
I
it
seen
could
it
be a
in real life.
pterodactyl that they've seen. Yeah,
I seen the Thunderbird in real life in the
yeah.
daytime. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
wow,
That thing was,
that's a
man,
that's a
it was
big bird. What happened with that encounter?
okay, so I'll tell you the story on that, and this is all true. Okay, so this is when I was probably about 22, 23-ish. I lived in California. I had just recently got in contact with my dad, and I went out to visit him on vacation, and I met, my family, some of my family members, because I didn't grow up with my dad. I grew up with my mom. Anyway, so we got in contact. I went out. I visited him on a vacation. Went back to California, and then I was like, I want to move out there, man. I'm tired of the city. I'm tired of all this noise and people. So I decided to move out there. So I moved out there. So, anyways, I got a little job in a little town next to the reservation. And so one day I'm going for a cruise. I used to like to cruise my car, like on the weekends and Sunday, go for a nice little drive. 'Cause it's real beautiful out there with the mountains and trees and the canyons. It's real beautiful. So I went for a ride by myself into another little town called Monticello. And then I got something to eat and some snacks. And then I turned around to head back towards my house where I stayed at in the next city, the next town. And from far away, it looked like an old lady who was walking on the side of the road with a gray blanket wrapped around her. And she was waddling like a penguin. So I thought it was an old lady because you see stuff like that. You'll see an elderly person wrapped up in a blanket walking down the street in the middle of the summer. Or they'll be walking in the middle of nowhere or on the highway. You see stuff like that. And then, people pull over and check on them. So I thought, well, I'm gonna pull up and I'm gonna check on that lady, see what's going on. So the thing was walking. It would walk a little ways and then it would stop. And it would walk a little ways and then it would stop. And I thought, man, that's kind of weird how she's walking like that. So I'm coming up the hill, and it's on a little highway, and I start slowing down. And right when I get close to what I thought was going to be an old lady, it was this huge, monstrous. It looked like an eagle. The head looked like an eagle. The eyes, the beak, the feathers, but it was not an eagle. It was charcoal gray in color.
Oh, wow.
And when I slowed down in my vehicle looking at it, the eyes, it turned its head and it locked its eyes on my eyes. And the experience I had was it looked in my soul. And then when I looked in its eyes, I looked inside its soul. And I seen pure power in its soul. And I was told I might see this when I was a kid. I was told I might see the Thunderbird sometime in my life, but I never believed it. And then all I thought was in my mind, I don't want to show up fear, because if I show up fear, it'll probably destroy me. So I just tried not to be fearful of it, looking in its eyes. And then I just kept driving by real slow, turned my head. I looked in the rearview mirror. It's still there. I turned my car around real slow, pulled over on the side behind it. The head of it was turned all the way around to its back, staring at me. And it would walk. It would take a few steps, and then it would stop.
Oh,
And
wow.
the tail feathers were probably 4 to 5 feet long in the back, the tail feathers. And they were huge. And they were dragging on the ground when it would walk. It would make a dragging noise, like something coarse was being dragged. Yeah, on the road. And I'm in my car looking, and all I was thinking was, I want to get a feather from it. This is how dumb I am. I'm like, I want to get a feather. I want to get a tail feather. So I'm thinking about trying to steal a feather from it when this creature could just totally destroy me, right? So my car's off. The thing's slowly walking like that with the head turned around, staring at me, watching me. I get out of my car real quiet. I just barely push the door, and it just clicks, little click. And then I turn and I look, and it's gone. It's gone. It disappeared. And then I'm like, what the heck? Am I losing my mind? And then I heard a thunder noise, real loud. And I'm looking around, and the sky is totally clear. There's not even one cloud out, right? It's blue. It's a beautiful day.
Yeah.
And then I'm looking all over, and I go, oh my God, I'm losing my mind. Something weird's going on. And then I heard the thunder noise again. And I look around, and I'm like, man, I must be going insane. This is not right. So I walk a little further, and I'm looking at the ground for feathers, and I'm looking around, and something told me to look straight up with my head, like all the way like towards the back of my back, right? So I leaned back like that, and I looked straight up. Guess what I seen? I seen it soaring in the sky. so high, and the wings hit, and then made the thunder noise, and there was one little cloud, one little one, and that thing flew into it like an airplane, and it disappeared. I seen it.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
I seen
the
it.
Thunderbird has got some kind of.
It's
It's
an
not just
interdimensional.
like a different type of.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
thing is
yeah. That's what I was trying
interdimensional.
to get to. Yeah,
Yeah, this thing has a ability
yeah,
that's beyond our world, our comprehension.
yeah.
And
Which makes sense.
that's what the Bigfoots have too. All these creatures, they have it. They know how to use it. They know how
Oh
to
yeah,
utilize it. They use it to get away from humans. They might use it to go after someone or to hunt or to eat or whatever. But they all got it and they use it. So, but I told my dad about it,
yeah. And
and he
I've been
got real
saying that for a
quiet.
long time.
Yeah, so I was telling my dad about it. I go, "What do you think that was?" So this is what he told me. He goes, "In our culture, we call it a god." I go, "A god?"
Mm.
He goes, "Yeah, that's a good." He goes, "What the white man calls a god, we use that word for that. It's a god." I go, "So why do we call it a god then?" He said, "Because it's from another dimension, another world, and it can come into our world when it wants, and it can do whatever it wants in our world, and then it can leave our world and go to another world." And he said, in the old days, they called those things, or anyone that had that ability, they were called gods.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just the
Yeah.
terminology that I guess we chose to use. Yeah. It's like Jesus. He's a God. Well, guess what Jesus can do? He can come to the earth and eat with us and drink with us and heal us and help us and talk to us and nurture us and rebuke us. And then guess what? He can float away, go bye bye,
Yeah.
and go back to
Yeah.
Heavenly
Sure
Father.
can.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I believe all these creatures were created by who I call the creator, the ultimate creator, Heavenly Father, you know, Jesus as the divine Godhead, whatever, with the Holy Spirit and all that. I believe that they're just animals that were created, creatures that were created at a certain time, and they live and they survive and they can come in and out of our world and our dimension. I mean, that's just what I think, you know. But I mean,
Hey,
I'm not an
Rico.
expert or anything, so. But yeah, I seen it.
Hey, Rico.
Yes, sir.
See, like my grandma and granddaddy and all of them, they're Cherokee, and I've got a lot of Cherokee that runs through my blood too.
Okay.
But like my grandma and granddaddy's beliefs was like with the difference in like a dog man versus the Bigfoot, and you tell me if this sounds about right. Like way they used to describe things is pretty much the dog man was here to do like the devil's work, to where Bigfoot was here to do more along the lines of our Heavenly Father's work, is Jesus Christ's work, pretty much. Does that sound about right to you?
Hey, Shannon, you still there?
I think something happened.
Yeah. Oh,
Mhm.
he's reconnecting. He might be in
Yeah, that.
bad service. His app kind of acts
Yeah,
up sometimes. But
yeah.
I think what he was saying, we've talked about it before. Like Bigfoot, was put here, according to his grandparents, Bigfoot was put here to like combat the dog man.
Did
So
I
you
lose
got like
y'all?
the dog man doing the devil's work, Bigfoot doing God's work. Like they see Bigfoot as a good creature and dog man as an evil creature.
Okay, yeah, I got you. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, all the different tribes have different stories and legends and history with the animals, but those type of creatures and animals, whatever you want to term them as, they show their true essence, and then you get to see how they act around the people or towards
Yeah.
the people, the humans, and then you can tell, you know, if they're good or they're bad. You know what I'm saying? So
Yep.
if
Got you.
they're if the bunch of them are just doing bad stuff all the time, then you know that's what you're gonna have to expect from them, and that's what you're gonna have to be ready for and aware of, and you know you might have to have certain things to ward them off, or to chase them, or to scare them, or to hunt them, or to trap them, or kill them. So it
Yep.
just depends how
Because
serious it is.
yeah, because I think all these creatures, especially like when it comes to Bigfoot, Dogman, stuff like that, you got in the Bigfoot community, just take Bigfoot for example. In the Bigfoot community, and I talk about this like you got like what we call the Great Divide, or
Yeah,
what I call the Great Divide in the Bigfoot community. You got people that believe it's just a flesh and blood creature that it's just a North American giant ape is all it is. Then you got the
mm,
people that like, oh no, it's nothing but a spiritual creature. And I'm kind of in the middle. I'm like, all right, I believe they're flesh and blood because you hear stories of these creatures of their people's killed them. Um, they've got plenty of DNA they've extracted from them. So if they're pure spiritual, they wouldn't have the DNA that you can actually analyze and come up with what they think it might be. But I think
yeah,
they're a flesh and blood creature with a
they are.
spiritual side to them, like with capabilities that we don't understand.
I asked my dad about those things because my dad, he knows about all this stuff, man. Well, he passed away, but he is very smart. He had a lot of intelligence, and he knew a lot of really secretive stuff, man, like serious stuff. So I'd ask him from time to time about certain things, just out of curiosity to see what he would say. So I asked him about the Sasquatches, the Bigfoots. I go, hey pops, I go, so what do you think about the Sasquatch? What do you think that the creature is? And he goes, son, he goes, that's an alien, and it's not from our planet originally. It's from another
Okay,
planet.
I'm back.
Okay, cool. And then so
I'm
what?
back. All right. So what I was trying to ask before it dropped me,
Yeah,
and I'm sorry.
no,
Uh, okay, like my grandparents and stuff, they're all Cherokee, and I've got a lot of Cherokee blood that runs through me.
yes, sir.
So with like some of their beliefs, it's like the dog man was placed here by Satan to do his work, to where Bigfoot was placed here by Jesus Christ himself to kind of take and fight off the dog man. Does any of that sound about right to you?
Well, you know what? I would say, okay, this, let me tell you, this is what I was telling Shannon when you came back. I asked my dad about this because he knows a lot about this kind of stuff. I go, hey, Pops, I go, what do you think about Sasquatch? What do you think that is? That creature? Is it from Earth or, well, what's the deal? He goes, son, he goes, that is an alien from another planet. And he said that it was brought here by the ones they call the Greys, the little smaller gray aliens. He said that it was brought to Earth by those
Yeah,
Yep,
alien creatures, and they brought it to Earth to be their slaves and to help them build big, huge buildings. Like the pyramids in Egypt and stuff like that. That's what my dad
yeah,
said. They used those
yep.
creatures to lift those heavy rocks to build all that, but it was slave labor. They were their slaves. And those grays have a way they can imprison you in your mind. and they have like a certain powers like that. And my dad said that they hated them, and they hated being slaves, and they rebelled, and they had a war with them, and they killed a bunch of those Greys, and they ran, and they escaped them, and they went into, guess where? They went into the mountains. They went into the mountains to escape those gray aliens, and they loved the mountains, and they could live on our earth real easily because we got fresh food, water, sun, everything. This is a real good environment for them to live and flourish in. And he said they escaped and they ran away and they don't want to be bothered. And he said they spread around the world and they just want to live their life in peace and be left alone. But like with our tribe and a lot of other tribes, most of our encounters with them have been good and friendly, and we've treated them like we call them. Some people call them the big brother. They got different names for them. And
Yeah.
we have
Yeah.
songs in our culture that we would sing out in the woods for for blessing or peace or would love, or for animal, for hunting or whatever. And some of the men would be out there with their drums singing a song, and guess who's showing up singing with them? Bigfoot. They'd show up,
Yeah. And
sing with us.
that makes
So you see, that's our
yeah,
connection.
and that
That's the good connection we have with them.
yeah, and it makes a lot of sense because I've heard David Pilatus on his last documentary he come out with. He tells a story of a guy he lived either on or right next to a Native American reservation, and this was a very very long time ago. But he would see one of the natives taking food out to a certain spot in the woods.
Yeah.
And he'd ask the guy, "Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing with that food?" And the guy never would tell him. But he had got real close to that Native American tribe, and he
Okay.
asked some of the elders, like, "What's the deal with the food?" And they's like, "Well, we'll tell you. It's a gifting. We gift this food to the moon people."
Okay.
Said that, and this is way before airplanes, spaceships. This is like 1800s or whenever it was. I can't remember when he said it was, but way before anything mechanical, anything that could fly, right?
Yeah.
And they said they come down from the moon. Talking about the Bigfoot come down from the moon, and we
Okay.
leave them food so they don't bother us.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
also, I've heard of a lot of encounters where you hear of people seeing Bigfoot and then they see UFOs along with the Bigfoot.
Sure.
I've heard that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a good possibility that there is a connection there. I mean, you hear too much of it. Just like that's
Yeah.
what made me come to the conclusion that these are a actual flesh and blood creature that have that
Yeah.
spiritual or paranormal aspect to them, where they're able to do things that we can't comprehend or understand. That we
Yep.
don't. I ain't going to say not everybody in the world doesn't have this ability, but 99% of the world doesn't have this ability to be able to go through portals or cloak or go through different dimensions and do the stuff that they're able to do, because you hear too many in these encounters of them doing that kind of stuff. And then like the lights, the orbs, a lot of people that have encounters, they encounter the orbs. I've seen orbs on my property. I've had Bigfoot encounters on my property.
Yeah.
There's too much spiritual stuff that goes along with just seeing a giant ape in the woods,
Yeah. And you know what? As another thing, think about this. Whether they're from here or they're from somewhere else. I mean, for me, I'm not worried about that. I don't think about it so much, but they're people want to know where they're from, what's going on. But you know, one of the things I was gonna say was is that you know, I've heard a lot of different people with encounters with them that they were not bad encounters. They were like accidental
Yeah.
encounters, or they seemed like they wanted to play with them or communicate with them. And, just like any creature, I think if you're friendly and you treat them right, you're not going to have a big problem with them. But if you're going to be like, I'm going to kill you, sucker, and I'm hunting you down and killing your whole if someone's like that, then, those things, man, they probably want to go to war. They're probably ready to get wild,
Oh yeah.
But,
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing about these creatures. I think they just want to be left alone. And if you leave them
yeah,
alone, I don't think they'll be harmful to you because you hear, well, like you said, you hear so many, you know, good encounters to where the worst encounters you hear of these creatures is them trying to get you out of their area. I mean,
yeah,
they'll throw rocks at you, try to get you, they'll bluff charge you, throw some trees, break some stuff.
yeah.
Um, but you don't hear them actively attacking people like a
Yeah,
dog man.
not
Now a
not
dog man,
normally. Yeah, not normally.
yeah, yeah, you've got to really do something to them for them to actively hurt you.
I think
Actively
so.
come after you. You've got to.
Yeah, yeah. You're right. There was a show, I can't remember the name of it, and it was a forest ranger, and he told his Sasquatch encounter, his Bigfoot encounter, and he said he went to
Yeah,
to tell people that were camping out, you got to leave now. We're gonna close the area up for whatever was going on. And so he was going to the different sites, camping spots, and telling the people so they could get their stuff and leave. And he said he went into the woods, I guess, to like use the restroom. And all of a sudden he heard a loud pop, like real loud. And then he heard it again. Oh, really loud. And he thought, what the heck is that? He never heard that before. And then he heard it again. Pow! And he said he got a real bad feeling, and he turned and he looked, and it was one of the Sasquatches, the Bigfoots. This thing was mad, PO'd at him. And this thing wanted to get him, man. And he said he turned around, he started running as fast as he could, and all he could hear was the big footprints behind him, the big feet hidden in the ground, shaking the ground like thunder, and the loud pow. Well, that loud pow was that Sasquatch was breaking these huge trees, breaking them with his hands.
oh yeah,
So that's how mad that thing was. He said he got in his truck and that
yeah.
thing
And
was standing there waiting for him. Like, all right, I'm here. Let's go. And I guess he said he started his truck and he got the heck out of there. And he goes, I never believed in Bigfoot or Sasquatch. He goes, that day I became a believer.
oh yeah, yeah, definitely. I've heard that them things tearing up the woods, man, and that is
Yeah.
a scary, scary feeling, dude. It
I
really
seen that when
is.
I was a kid.
Uh, when I
I
got
seen a
bluff
spot
charged, that's
like
what
that.
it was doing. Mm. Oh wow. Yeah, didn't you have an encounter in Arkansas when you was a kid?
I did.
A
It's
Bigfoot
a
encounter?
Bigfoot encounter, man. And that's where they threw a
Yeah.
fit and they did stuff like that. So that's when I was like 6 years old. My mom was a hippie. She followed her friends to Arkansas. They wanted to live in the Ozark Mountains and be hillbillies, right? Okay, that was my mom.
Yeah.
That's she was the crazy hippie lady that liked being a hillbilly or whatever. Okay, so I'm a little kid. I'm like 6 years old. She's like, "Hey, you want to go to Arkansas?" I go, "Yeah, let's go." So we took off. We went over there, drove over there. We lived in this little town right at the bottom, the foot. What do you call it? Foothill of
Yeah,
the
the
Ozark
foothills.
Mountains. Yeah, right at the bottom of it. And there was a little street that went up, and there was houses and trailers down it. And we were in a little trailer right where the road ended. And then there was a trail to hike up the mountain because people used to hike up that mountain and go, exploring and camping and doing roasts like hot dogs, marshmallows, all that fun stuff. So I'm 6 years
Mhm.
old. I'm the only black-haired kid, brown-skinned kid in this school in Arkansas. Everyone's blonde hair, blue eyes, red hair, freckled, green eyes, right? So I'm like a puppy dog, and my hair was real
Yeah.
straight and silky. So I was like a little puppy dog. They were amazed at my hair, and they would just go up to me, and girls would go up to me, little girls would go, "Can I pet you?" "Okay, sure." And they'd start petting my hair, and they'd look at me and they go, "It's so smooth. It's nice. I never felt that before." Anyways, I was the weird, strange kid at school in that little town. Okay, so on the weekends, because I love the outdoors and the wilderness, I wanted to go camping, and my mom didn't want to go camping. And so I go, "Well, I'm going to go by myself." And she's like, "Yeah, you can do that." And I go, "You sure?" She goes, "Yeah." She goes, "But tomorrow's Saturday. Before you leave, we're going to cook you some food, some meat, and give you some bread, and you take it in a little bag for your lunch and your dinner, so you're not hungry." Okay. So that
Yeah.
next Saturday, she made some food, and I took off when I had my little pocket knife and no jacket, just pants and shirt and my little bag of food and my little pocket knife. So I went hiking up the mountain, and so that became kind of like a regular weekend thing for me. So as I would go up there, I found a spot, a clearing area. So I would rest there from hiking when I was going up the mountain. So I'd sit there, and then what started happening was um, something started throwing rocks. Or wait, sticks first. It was sticks. Started throwing a stick, and it hit a tree. It came from the trees and it flew real high, probably like about 16 to 20 feet high. It would hit a big tree, and
Yeah.
it'd hit it, and it would bounce, and it would land right by my left leg, like perfect, like accurate. And so I thought it was the high school kids trying to scare me. And then they would throw the stick and the same thing, land in the same area. And then they would throw the rocks, real smooth rocks, like riverbed rocks. And then the rocks would
Mm-hmm.
land by my leg. So I would get them, and then I'd throw them back in the direction of the trees on the side of the mountain where they were coming from. So I'm doing that as a kid. I'm by myself on the mountain. I'm thinking it's the high school kids, because the high school kids, they used to like to play jokes on the little kids, because it was a small town, and the school was one big school. So they used to mess with the little kids, right? So I just thought it was the high school kids. So then finally I'm leaving, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, I see you guys." And I saw some shadows, some big shadows in the trees, but I couldn't tell. I just thought, man, that's weird. Like, did they look so big, and why is it like a big shadow? Or, I didn't know. I'm a little kid. So I'm going down the mountain,
Yeah.
and it happened probably about 3, 4 more times. And the last time it happened, I was yelling at them. I go, "Hey, why you guys don't show your face? Why don't you guys come up here and play with me? Because I'm a kid. I want to play." And it was dead silent. And then it felt like someone hit me in my stomach with a bat. Boom! I got this huge pain in my stomach. And I was like, "Oh, man." And then I just got this really overwhelming bad feeling over my whole body, like something evil or wicked was around, man. And I'm like, I got to get the heck out of here. So I'm a little kid. I'm just trying to like be cool and not show my pain. And so I just started walking down that mountain real fast. And then I ran down it. Then I told my mom, and she's like, "I told you shouldn't be going up there. You don't know who's up there." Mother stuff. She's mad at me.
Yeah.
So then the next weekend comes. She goes, "I want to go up there and see if I see anything, see if something happens." So she got a little crew together. She got the neighborhood kids together. And so we all said, "Okay, let's go up there, have a picnic, and see what's going on." So we're hiking up the trail. And as we're hiking up the trail, there was these huge boulders. Like, they had to be like 4 feet tall, at least. Huge, big ones. Like, a human can't pick that up and throw it. Well, they were something picked them up and threw them. They were gone. They were gone. They didn't roll. Something picked them up and tossed them. And there's a big dent in the
Oh,
ground because
wow.
they were huge boulders. So we're staring at it. We're like, what the heck? So we walk a little further. There was another big boulder like that, gone the same way. Something picked it up and tossed it. So my mom's like, okay,
Oh,
there's a high
wow.
school. Yeah, there's a high school kid with us. My mom's like, okay, you guys playing jokes, you messing things up, you trying to scare everyone or what? And that high school kid, he goes, no, ma'am. He goes, we don't even come up here. We don't even want to come up here. Okay. So we walk a little further. Guess what we seen? The dirt was sandy, like river sand bottom. There was the footprint, the
Mm-hmm.
big, huge footprint. It looked like a big human's foot, but it was just huge. It was huge. It was wide. The
Yeah.
toes were huge. And the guy that was the high school guy, he was a big guy. He had like logger boots on. He put his logger boot on. He goes, I wear size 12. Let's see how much bigger this thing is. It was a lot bigger than his 12 for sure. It was at least 5, 6 inches longer, and on each side it was probably like 2 to 3 inches wider. I mean, the foot was huge.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was huge. And then we got up a little further. We started getting creeped out, but we kept going. And to the right, there was a little area, just a small little clearing area. Something pulled those trees
Mm-hmm.
out. They were I would say about 16 to 20, 25-foot trees. Pulled those trees out by the roots. By the roots. Pulled them up like they were weeds in the ground all together and threw them against the other trees. And when we seen that, everyone got scared. We're like, "Oh, that's the Bigfoot, that's Sasquatch. We got to get out of here, man." These things went on a rampage. So we went back down. We had the teenager boy, because we didn't have a phone. We had him call the police, and the police came up, and then the forest ranger came up, and then there was a crew there, man. There was a bunch of those guys there. And then a fencing guy came up, and they were up there for hours searching and looking and taking pictures and stuff. And so what ended up happening was when they were almost done and they were fencing the bottom off and putting warning dangerous wild animals on the fence, the officer, he turns around like a movie and he goes, all right, you kids. He goes, so if any reporters come up here, you just tell them you didn't see nothing. And he goes,
Oh, wow.
he goes, it's for your safety, for everyone's safety. And you guys don't go over this fence and you don't go in there because there's some wild, angry bears up there. And we all started laughing because we knew it wasn't bears. There was no bear prints or nothing, no claw marks. And we're laughing and we go, yeah, right, it's the Sasquatch. And then he turned around again and he goes, oh, and by the way, you'd never seen a Sasquatch either. And he winked at us. Like a movie,
Wow.
man. I'm a little
Yeah.
kid and I'm like,
Yeah.
these guys know about this,
Oh,
Everyone knew
yeah.
about
Yeah,
them.
they do.
Yeah, everyone knows about them. Yeah, so that was my
Yeah,
experience in all
they
six,
definitely
man.
do. Yeah, and that's the thing, it's they always blame bear. It's always a bear.
Yeah.
Like no matter what, it's a bear. It's wild, man.
Yeah,
I
man.
mean,
And you know what? I wish I was older when that happened. Because I wish I would have got some plaster of Paris or something, or some cement, quick drying cement or
yeah.
something
Oh,
to
yeah.
put in the foot imprint. We could have had a foot imprint from Bigfoot, man, a real one. We could have
Yeah,
had it.
made a cast. Yeah, yeah.
1977. Yeah, that's the year, 1977. 'Cause I was 6. That's when I was 6. Man, and you know what? Let me tell you something, you guys. Let me tell you this, man. I did not tell that experience to no one in my whole life for years. And I told my mom, And of course, because we dealt with it at the same time, right? But I never told no one. And I remember if I was at someone's house and they had a TV and there was something on Bigfoot on the thing, I would sit there. I wanted to watch. I wanted to learn. I wanted to learn something about them because I was that close to them, you know. And then as I got older, I always thought
Yeah.
about it. And then I always wanted to go back to that little town as an adult and go to the same spot and just, I don't think I'd camp out, but just sit there, look around, see if someone throws a rock, you know, or something throws a rock. But, you
Oh
know,
yeah.
I never got to do it. And I feel kind of bummed out about it because I really loved living there. It was so beautiful. And the people were so nice and kind and giving and sharing. And, anyways, but I thought about that for years. I kept it in my mind and my heart. And you know what? The first time I was able to tell it openly was on your show on TikTok. That was the
Oh
first
wow.
time. And let me tell you what, I felt such a good release from that because when you hold stuff like that inside in your heart for a long time and you know that people will make fun of you or, you know, call you names or whatever because they don't believe in it,
Yeah.
you know, it hurts, man. You hurt inside. And so
Oh yeah.
when I was
Yeah.
able
It really
to
does.
when I was able to tell my experience on your show, man, I had like a huge relief and I felt so happy because I'm like, you know what? These are the people that know about this stuff, like me, you know? So thank you for
Oh
allowing me
yeah.
to do that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and I appreciate you for coming on and telling us about it. And I always try to keep, my show on TikTok. I always try to keep it a very safe space for people with encounters because of that reason. A lot of people don't want to come forward because they're scared of the ridicule that comes along with it. And
Yeah.
and and I I got some really, really great moderators. I got Shannon's a great moderator, Michaela. And if somebody's in the comments and they start talking crap about somebody's encounter, they kick them out so fast they can't even get it typed quick enough.
Yeah,
And
that's
that's
good.
what I love about doing that on TikTok and allowing people to come up and share their encounter with us and
Yeah.
and not just in the Bigfoot world, there's certain organizations that if you start talking about the spiritual aspects of Bigfoot, they don't want to hear it. They're like, oh, that's not real. And I'm like, how can you say that? Because number one, this certain person in that, that's saying that is definitely not an expert,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, nobody's truly an expert on these creatures,
Yeah.
especially, normal people.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
how do you know they don't have that spiritual aspect to them? How do you know this didn't happen in that encounter? You're out
Mm-hmm.
here if you want to play it like that, like them certain organizations, they want to play it like that. Well, then I can play that game too and say, well, you're out here trying to explain why there's a great North American ape that we haven't found yet. So what sounds more
Yeah.
ridiculous? You're looking for
Exactly.
an ape that can't be found, or this person says, well, I think the reason they can't be found because I've seen this thing coming in out of portals. Well, I don't believe that part of it. And I'm like, it doesn't make any sense not to believe that because number one, it's been reported throughout history of these things being able to do that kind of stuff. And there's
Yeah.
too many that report it. Just on my TikTok show, I've had many people come up and report that, man, I seen this thing come through a tunnel or through a portal right beside me. You know,
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
had plenty of people come up that say they have portals around their property and they see them going in and out of portals all the time.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's far fetched. And I think it's a good way to explain the reason that we haven't caught up with this creature because they
Yeah.
are able to
Oh,
do that kind of stuff, be able to, travel through them portals, appear, disappear. Scott Carpenter actually got it on camera, one coming through a portal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. I
He
mean,
but
it
yeah, it's yeah, yeah.
it's real. It's
He
real.
had a
Yeah.
camera. It is, and that's the thing. And that's what I don't like about. I love the subject of Bigfoot. I'm no expert. Like I said, I don't believe anybody's a true expert on these
Yeah.
creatures.
Yeah.
A lot of people have a lot of knowledge about them,
Yeah.
especially like in your culture, because your culture it runs so deep in the Native American culture that y'all dealt with these creatures more than any other culture in the world. I
Yeah.
mean, at one time, y'all have had working relationships with these creatures, barter systems with them. I've heard
Mm-hmm.
it from many natives from
Yeah.
different tribes all around the United States. And so, when you really get down deep in this subject and you want to talk to somebody that has real knowledge on them, you've got to go to the Native American tribes of this country because they're the ones that's had the stories passed down, passed down, passed down.
Yes, sir.
And I believe a lot of Native Americans are still actively involved with these creatures, you know.
Sure.
Um, and I mean, and not just Native Americans. I think that, throughout the world, I think there's still tribes throughout the world that's actively involved with these creatures and still associate with them, interact with them. Um, but I think with these creatures, it's got to be somebody they can absolutely trust. That's not gonna, for lack of a better term, stab them in the back. Like become
Yeah.
friends with them and then call the government. Hey, we got one right here. Come get it. It's
I
got to be. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Uncle
no,
Rico.
no. Oh, I was just gonna say. I think they know the human's nature and intentions,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Nah, we don't want nothing to do with that. As a matter of fact, we don't
Yep.
want nothing to do with you. We're gonna leave you alone. We're gonna be in the woods doing our thing, and when we have to, we're gonna scare you, and then we're gonna disappear." you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, I can't blame them. If I was a Sasquatch and I'm looking at the world through their eyes and being able to stay hidden like that, I would stay hidden too. I'm not associating with these people. They're crazy.
Yeah, especially if they're like,
You
"Oh
know?
yeah, you're our friend," and then they got guns. Next thing you know, they're shooting you, killing you. you know,
Yep. Yep. Exactly.
like, "Oh,
Exactly.
you're a
Yep.
pretty good looking Bigfoot there." Bam, 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 bam. Oh, I got him, boys. He's
You're
he's
gonna,
he's done.
you're gonna look good stuff sitting in my living room. Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, man. And like I said, if I was a Sasquatch, I'd be the same way. I'd be looking at the world like, they think I'm still a mythical creature. We're gonna leave it
Yeah.
that way. I'm not showing
Yeah.
myself.
Mm-hmm. You know what I find interesting
Well,
about them is they make teepees
what was that?
like Native Americans, the Bigfoots.
Yes.
They make teepees.
Yep. Sure do.
And when I've seen the pictures of those teepees, the Bigfoot teepees, I think that is a spiritual thing that they're making, like to pray or to transport to another dimension or something. I think that's a spiritual thing because in our native culture, the teepee is sacred and it's a sacred geometry design, and it's designed
Yeah.
to bring energy in and release the bad energy out and to heal the mind, body, and the spirit. And that's why they choose the teepee mainly to do a lot of the healing ceremonies and stuff. In the old
Mm-hmm.
days, they used to smoke what the white man called the peace pipe because they wanted to have they wanted everything to be good. No bad energy, nothing
Yeah.
bad. And that's a sacred spot and a sacred uh, 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 I don't want to call it a building, but a structure, a sacred structure designed to connect to the universe, and the power of the universe. So, when I've seen the pictures of the Bigfoot teepees, I go that has to be spiritual right there, man, for sure, because
Yeah.
They know about that sacred structure.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And it could be, and I don't know this for a fact. I'm just kind of speculating, but it could be something that they learned from your culture, or y'all's culture could have got it from them, or one or the other.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you look deep in y'all's culture, in the Native American culture. The relationship y'all had with these creatures, hundreds of years ago, actively, trading with them, bartering with them, um, actively involved with these creatures. It could be a shared culture. It could have been a shared culture at one time.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, that's what happens when you have neighbors, right? You got a neighbor, I live
Yeah,
next to you, I got a building, I got a house or whatever, and I got whatever I do for my work or my animals or whatever, and you're next door. We're gonna start talking. Next thing you know, I'm gonna be like, hey, yeah, my girlfriend cooked this apple pie for you and your wife. Here you go. And then you and your wife's gonna be like, well, we cooked some turkey last, yesterday or whatever. Here, you take some turkey. And people, they
yeah,
start trading and sharing and talking. And a lot of the tribes that where there's a lot of those creatures that tend to show up, they have a closer relationship with them, and they have a history of doing those things, sharing, trading, praying, singing. Yeah, they got that history with them.
definitely, definitely. But yeah, Uncle Rico, I think um we're gonna end this soon. It's
Okay,
getting pretty late where I'm at, and Shannon,
okay,
I know it's pretty late where he's at. But I
okay.
mean, if you want to come back and do a part two and discuss more stuff, man, we can definitely make that happen. It's completely up to you.
Yeah, I'm down to do that if you want.
All right, yeah, we'll plan it out one day soon.
Okay.
Just whatever day's best for you, man. You just let me know, and we'll do it again. We'll do a part two
Sunday's
because
the best day. Sundays is the best day
that'll
for
work.
me. So yeah. So whenever you
Awesome.
want to do it or whatever, any Sunday, it don't matter what Sunday. Sunday is my best day uh in the week for me, how I feel health wise and everything. And then yeah, we could
Yeah,
do another one and another session. I'll tell you some more experiences if you want, stuff that I've gone through or whatever. So
awesome, awesome. Yeah, that'll work, brother. That'd be great because this has been an awesome episode so far. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Um,
me too.
and I mean, it's always awesome talking to you, man. I mean, you're so full of knowledge and had so many experiences throughout your life. Um,
And
it's
you know
just
what's so
amazing, man.
funny? What's so funny? I never even imagined I would see or experience any of this kind of stuff, man. Even when I was a kid, I could never even imagine it. And then when the different things happened and I experienced it, it freaked me out, man, because I'm like, this is not supposed to happen in real life. This is something beyond our
Yeah,
normal life, supernatural. So I was really surprised and in shock too when I experienced a lot of this stuff. It blew my mind.
yeah. I mean, it's almost because I've experienced a lot throughout my life. Not near as much as you, but I've experienced a lot more than the average person. And when I sit down and think about it, I'm like, it's kind of like a blessing and a curse. It's a
Hmm.
curse having to deal with certain things that you don't want to deal with. Like you said, shouldn't be part of normal life. But then you
Hmm.
think about it, it's also a blessing too because it opens up your eyes to more than what you think this world is.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. It's I can't remember what show it was. It was the one I think with Captain Kirk on it. He does the intro, and he goes, "It's a strange world out there, and I love it."
Oh yeah, yeah. William Shatner.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know
there
the
you go.
show
Yeah,
you're talking about.
yeah, I love
I know
those
the show you're
shows.
talking about.
Yeah.
Yep, I do too, man. I do too. Uh,
Oh man, hey, it's been a real pleasure talking to you both, and you allowing me to share my life experiences with you. And I always dreamed that I could do this one day because of how intense and how out of this world these experiences I went through. It's just you can't tell everyone normally. You can't just tell people because they're gonna be like, "You're crazy," and it's like, "No, I'm not crazy, man. This is
Yeah.
what I went through." And so, it's a real big release, and it makes me feel happy to be able to share it with people that want to hear, want to know, want to get some info, and then they whatever the experiences they went through, and then they share, and then you get to hear them, and it's like a healing thing, man. So I appreciate it.
It really is, and the pleasure is all ours, man. We really do appreciate you coming on and sharing with us. And you're right, it is. It gets a lot off your chest just to be able to sit down and talk about this stuff, and knowing that people's going to listen and understand. You know, having
Yeah.
that understanding of what you've been through, and the
Yep.
ones that's never experienced, they can kind of see the world through like your eyes or my eyes or Shannon's eyes, and kind of like, it really makes sense. Even though I've never experienced it, it really makes sense what they're saying, because
Yeah.
there's so much more to this world than what most people think it is. And when you
Hmm.
go through that, it really does help to be able to sit down and talk and get it off your chest. And
Yeah.
and like I said, the pleasure's all ours, man. And we really do appreciate you coming on and sharing that with us. And we'll definitely we'll do a part two, and get into more of your encounters, and more of your life experiences, and
Okay.
let the world know what's really going on out there.
Sure, man. Hey, I'm glad I made the connection with you and your crew because you're the right people. Because it's,
And
you can't share this with just anyone. There has to be certain specific type people with a certain mentality, a certain heart, a certain spirit, and you got all the qualifications from my side for me to be able to share this stuff without feeling like, oh, this guy's he's gonna twist the story, or you see what I'm saying? So I feel
yeah,
really good and confident that our connection is a real good connection.